Hi guys, Alexi here and I'm back with more weekly gaming news from MegaCat Studios. Now the first quarter has been great and the games have been plenty, but this time around we're taking a look at a couple of classic ports to the Switch and celebrating a PlayStation classic that was definitely ahead of its time, so let's get right into it. The Neo Geo Pocket Color title Big Bang Pro Wrestling was originally released in 2000 exclusively in Japan. Now if you're a hardcore fan and missed out on all that school wrestling action, it's now available on Switch eShop. If you want to pull off sick and devastating special moves, well, there's no need to stress out because the controls are fun and easy. It's total domination at the push of a button. What's even better is you can choose from 10 different fighters, so from newbies, masked luchadores, to super heavyweights. No matter who you take to the ring, you can expect a fun brawl for all. Wrestlers come with their own personalized finishing move that pretty much works like your typical fighting game. Once you get the hang of it, you'll be pummeling your opponents to the ground just the way you like it. With all that, plus a variety of game modes, it's definitely a classic wrestling title to pick up, especially if you're a handheld gaming hustler who's always out to bust open a can of whoop-ass every now and then. Now moving on to yet another classic made modern, EA just announced their plans to release a second collection of Valis titles for the Switch. So yes, the magical sword is at it again and we're loving it. Valis the Fantasm Soldier collection arrived last year and included the PC engine for the first 3 titles in the series. So if you're a cultured individual who digs anime platforms, we're probably sure you already have this set. The second collection, which doesn't have a final title yet, will feature Valis 4, Sid of Valis, and the Mega Drive version of Valis the Fantasm Soldier. Now the bonus sound and visual modes will make a comeback, along with the added new feature of being able to rewind the game. Very 90s indeed. Now the franchise has been a video game staple when it comes to the magical girl subgenre in anime, and it's kept a modest but very loyal fan base through the years. Nowadays, having video games based on manga is pretty common. You can expect every popular anime you see online to eventually have its own video game in a couple of years, or probably even less. And here's looking at you, Demon Slayer. But back in 1986, when the first Valis title came out, it was a different kind of beast that paved the way to Bayonetas, Momodoras, and Card Captor Sakuras you know and love. Yes, there's actually a Card Captor Sakura third-person shooter, and you get to fight other magical girls in an arena. I never thought being so cute would be so dangerous. And lastly, we take a look at a game that at the time was pretty strange, but still pretty damn good. Now Bruce Willis just announced his retirement, and while we're sad to see him leave, we can't help but be proud of his accomplishments through the years. Aside from the best Christmas family movie ever, Die Hard, there's an obscure gem from the PlayStation days that needs recognition. Apocalypse was a game Bruce Willis made in 1998 with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater developer Neversoft. Nowadays, you'll see celebrities in almost every video game, from online concerts in Fortnite to actually being a part of the game's story and missions like Dr. Dre in GTA Online. Back then, this kind of thing was almost unheard of, so Bruce Willis in an action game as himself would more or less confuse anyone. In the game, he plays Trey Kincaid, a badass, smartass prisoner who busts himself out of jail to stop the titular Apocalypse. Not much plot to go around, but for an action shooter, that's all you really need. The game went through different phases in development, from Bruce Willis being your in-game partner, to him being the actual main character, voice lines, mocap, and all. In reality, it does play like a 90s action flick, complete with all the one-liners coupled with big guns and explosions. Such a simpler time. You can say that Apocalypse was something of a pioneer when it came to bridging the gap between movies and video games. Now that's a huge feat on its own. But more importantly, the game actually led to the creation of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. The game engine was used to create the prototype of what would eventually become everyone's favorite skating game for years to come. So, if you get a sec or even play Apocalypse and find it a bit cringy, just remember that Trey Kincaid died so Tony Hawk could live. Well, there you have it, some sweet news stories from all around as we wrap up Q1 of 2022. The following weeks are looking good, and best believe we'll keep you all posted. Again, this is Alexi, and I'll catch you again for more weekly gaming news.